I hear your call to action at the end of this presentation, and I've tried with all my might. I've been in like battles with my own family about going plant-based. So I'm thinking that, well, okay, sure, if every person would do that, I think we all need all the vegans, all the people who think together, think the same. We need to get together. There's been a lot of infighting in the movement, unfortunately, and I'm thinking that we need people with influence. And have you tried or thought about going to celebrities? We know a few celebrities that are vegans. We know that Joaquin Phoenix, in his Oscar acceptance speech last time, he went on and he talked about animal agriculture, and I think it's a really, really good. It was a really good thing. There's all this, like Billie Eilish. Unfortunately, she didn't say anything, but she's a vegan. So I was thinking, have you thought about reaching out to these celebrities that have huge followings? And of course, sometimes they are young people. And I think young people need to, I used to be a teacher and I couldn't get to the young people because the adults would prevent me to do that. I was once prevented to talk about veganism, and I was teaching high school. So yeah, that's my question.
So, okay. So Dominique, did I say that correctly, Dominique?
Yes.
First of all, thank you. Thank you. And although I won't profess to have, all the ideas of all the management ideas of how to, create a proper world for us that I'm discussing, I believe I've covered a lot of ground, and I am in contact with a number of celebrities right now. I mentioned, in fact, that's how very quickly, that's how I've moved a few things in the right direction, such as Cowspiracy and some of these documentaries. We've got Jim and Susie Cameron, who, well known, for Avatar, and they're working very, very hard behind the scenes. I can't say enough about them. They're very influential. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that I'm currently working on. So I really appreciate you thinking of that. Can I ramp it up? Yeah, I've spent 5 years not being able to do it. And so I'm 5 years off, but I have a lot of energy and I have a lot of contacts right now. And so, yes, we plan to, and you are right. And if you look at, I know I went through those slides pretty quickly, but if you look at those slides, they're very carefully drawn up in terms of how to take the movement to the forward and upward and outward as fast as possible. And all those are listed in there: to educate the educated, increase those with platforms, discuss those with either wealth platforms or platforms of influence otherwise. Leonardo DiCaprio came about knowing about my discussions and my work, and decided to be the executive producer for Cowspiracy. So a lot that wouldn't have gotten launched very easily without some of these connections. So yes, so we're doing all we can. Lastly, I want to say is that the battle with the family. I'm going to connect that with the last statement you made about you used to be a teacher. Well, you still are a teacher, and you're a teacher by coming here to this event, being part of this, and further educating yourself, being a role model for those around you. And then you just have to be tactful with how you present that information. Like you give them the benefit of the doubt that they're comfortably unaware, and feed them information that will heighten their sensitivities to the planet and the timelines we're on, without strangling them. There's a way to do that. This is even though this sounded dire, and as you said, it was a punch in the gut. If you look at the theme through this, we can change it. We are the generations that created the biggest, the largest damage. We're also the generations that can make change. So continue on with your being a teacher and educate those around you, and use all these tools that you have, and then know that, at least from my standpoint, I am going to be doing everything I possibly can. I talked about this with my wife on the way in here today about this is only like my, first month or two, out of a very, very depressing, time for me with my family. And I've got some, major ideas. So we've got you, Dominique. Dominique, don't worry.
Thank you so much. And boy, are we glad to have you back.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Let's go now to Mike. We've got a couple of more minutes. Mike, welcome.
Well, hi, Doctor. Great speech, and you're preaching to the choir with all of us, I think. And Dominique had a good point about celebrities. To me, it comes back to marketing because, it's so easy to get fast food or run into a convenience store when you're getting gas and get a junk food item to eat as you're going, because you never see anybody on TV eating a green bean instead of a French fry, or getting a wheatgrass shake versus a Frosty from Wendy's. So I think these celebrities, can they come up with some creative ways that we can market, good foods are better for you than other things?
Right. So Mike, great. First of all, it's great to take what Dominique placed in terms of the foot in the door about the concept to the next level. And that's exactly what we're working on now. It's how to promote a plant-based lifestyle in a tactful fashion to make everyone feel by the end of, there's subtle ways to do that. It also is, and there are blatant ways to do that, but to make them feel as if they're the superhero by the time they see the marketing of the commercial, that they're actually doing something for the planet by lessening their footprint. And there are ways to do that. And that's one of the goals that we have right now, is how to ramp that up quite a bit. So yes, we're working on it right now. And we also could use funding, but we also have a few people that we talked about in the discussions last night, that have a platform of wealth and influence that I feel just need to have. There are many like that just need to have the information in front of them. So you began at the onset by saying you're preaching to the choir. I don't view it that way in many sense, in a large sense, because what I'm trying to do is provide you with new tools. And you might be the choir, but we're moving you into a whole nother realm of music that you're going to be displaying, having on display for the whole world to see. And so you're one of the leaders, and you're hopefully going to take what you're gleaning from this and use it as a tool to, if you have politicians or anybody of influence that you can think of, even in your own community, place these, what you feel to be appropriate replays, and place it right into their hands, or these documentary films I'm talking about, and let them become more aware. And then maybe we can get some movement going in a little bit of a faster fashion. But good point, Mike.
Thanks very much. And I think we can squeeze one more in, if that's okay with you, Doc.
That'd be great.
Great.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Kaylee.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, please, is it possible I have a terrible memory for numbers, and yet when I hear them, they make such a difference. Would it be possible to make available to everybody who wants it, a sheet, two sheets of paper, which we could then use with bullet points to make presentations to Rotary clubs and Lions clubs and all of these things? I would love that so much.
Yeah, you pronounce your name Kaylee?
Yeah.
Kaylee?
Yes.
Kaylee,
yes.
That's fantastic. And you must have seen what I was doing in the last couple of weeks, because
yes.
I don't throw all these. I don't have numbers that I just kind of fudge in here and there, because they really have to. I'm involved in a number of scientific think tanks, and I'm involved with a number of scientists at Oxford and other places around the world. So I have to know these numbers pretty well. In fact, it took maybe 6 to 9 months to be vetted by, we just talked about Cowspiracy and Leonardo DiCaprio. His attorneys just, were kind of grilling me on these numbers. And so they'll work, they'll work in the end. So yes, I have that. It all has to be referenced. And I'm planning to do that as part of the program. It'll be up on my website. I know you mentioned paper, and you should be taking paper in too, but it's funny that I mentioned that too. I talk about schedules and books and papers, but a lot of this is online. So I'll put it online from which you can create a paper, a bullet point, and it'll be very easy for you to follow that along. And that's what I mentioned to Mike, that this is a tool that, even though you're part of the choir, this is the tool that you can use to increase awareness and make a real difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My
It means
pleasure.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Can we ask you, what's the next big move? What's the next big, are you in front of policymakers again sometime soon? I'm just curious if
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
where
Oh,
are you
great.
at?
Great question. No, I appreciate that. I can't give it all away, but basically some of those contacts that I vaguely mentioned I've been in touch with, but I couldn't do much with. So I'm in the process of resurrecting all that, getting back on board with nonprofit organizations that are working with World Hunger projects, microfinance, world microfinance leaders. I'm working with policymakers. I have a whole list of programs that we're going to try to establish in educational systems from K through 12. But basically my goal, Ben, is to, and this is not just a flowery, empirical goal. I have very tangible methods of how to accomplish this, because I was already beginning to accomplish it, years ago, is to educate the educated, educate all those in the public, and then it's to the real truth, not just, and give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I believe everybody can change right away, not according to some Meatless Monday program, but then also influence those of influence, and make them understand, and basically infuse awareness into them, so it awakens and heightens their sensitivity to the fact that they are while making them feel bad, that they are responsible for future generations of all species, and they have a platform of influence, whether it's through economic wealth or the supporters they already have. They have a platform of influence that can make a difference. And so yes, I'm planning to do that. It's already underway as we speak. I also will have another book coming out as well.
Excellent. Any idea when we might see that?
I'd like to think tomorrow. I'd like to think tomorrow, but keep in touch, because I'll have it up on my website, and I'm hoping a few months.
So you're saying the idea is not to force people and not to sell people, but to enroll people in this, and that's going to be the ticket, it sounds like. It is
a ticket. Anybody that sees a speeding car about ready to hit their child or another child next door, or a child that belongs to somebody else, I don't think anybody amongst us wouldn't go out and try to save that child. And that's what it's going to take. It's not slapping up in the face to go do it. It's recognizing the situation we're in, and then that you have the ability to do something about it, and not let that little child get hit by the car. In this case, it's not to allow our planet and further species to be in the position that we're putting them in right now. And we can do this bottom up, and we can do it from top down. And I'm going to be involved in both wholeheartedly.